treat your planet well. The actions that you take are more important than you know. You've got to treat your planet well. The actions that you take are more important than you know.
Hi, and welcome to Imagine If Everyone Were Green and the Environmental Leadership and Awards. We hope you all enjoyed the bike-powered smoothies, courtesy of the Green Engineers and the Green Decade. And now we have a special video for you to help you understand why you all should be here and listen to what we say tonight.
Caution. It is vitally important not to make connections. When you see the shots of rubble from Joplin, Missouri, you should not wonder, is this somehow related to the tornado outbreak 3 weeks before it in Tuscaloosa, Alabama? Or the enormous outbreak a couple weeks before that, which together comprised the most active April for tornadoes in U.S. history? No, that doesn't mean anything. It is far better to think of these as isolated, unpredictable, discrete events. It is not advisable to try to connect them in your mind with, say, the fires burning across Texas, fires that have burned more of America at this point this year than any wildfires have in previous years. Texas and adjoining parts of Oklahoma and New Mexico are drier than they've ever been. The drought is worse than that of the Dust Bowl, but do not wonder if they're somehow connected. If you did wonder, you see, you would also have to wonder about whether this year's record snowfalls and rainfalls across the Midwest, resulting in record flooding along the Mississippi, could somehow be related. And then you might find your thoughts wandering to, global warming, and to the fact that climatologists have been predicting for years that as we flood the atmosphere with carbon, we will also start both drying and flooding the planet, since warm air holds more water vapor than cold air. It's far smarter to repeat to yourself the comforting mantra that no single weather event can ever be directly tied to climate change. There have been tornadoes before, and floods. That's the important thing. Just be careful to make sure you don't let yourself wonder why all of these record-breaking events are happening in such proximity. That is, why there have been unprecedented megafloods in Australia, New Zealand, and Pakistan in the past year. Why it's just now that the Arctic has melted for the first time in thousands of years. No, better to focus on the immediate causalities. Watch the videotape from the store cameras as the shelves are blown over. Look at the news anchor man standing in his waders in the rising river as the water approaches his chest. Because if you asked yourself what it meant that the Amazon has just come through its second 100-year drought in the past 5 years, or that the pine forests across the western part of this continent have been obliterated by a beetle in the past decade, well, you might have to ask yourself other questions, such as, should President Obama really have just opened a huge swath of Wyoming to new coal mining? Should Secretary of State Hillary Clinton sign a permit this year allowing a huge new pipeline to carry oil from the tar sands of Alberta? You might also have to ask yourself, do we have a bigger problem than $4 a gallon gasoline? Better to join with the U.S. House of Representatives, which voted 240 to 184 this spring to defeat a resolution simply saying that climate change is occurring is caused largely by human activities and poses significant risks for public health and welfare. Propose your own physics, or ignore physics altogether. Just don't start asking yourself whether there might be some relation among last year's failed grain harvest from the Russian heatwave, and Queensland's failed harvest from its record flood, and France's and Germany's current drought-related crop failures, and the death of the winter wheat crop in Texas, and the inability of Midwestern farmers to get corn planted in their sodden fields. Surely the record food prices are just freak outliers, not signs of anything systemic. It's very important to stay calm. If you got upset about any of this, you might forget how important it is not to disrupt the record profits of our fossil fuel companies. If worst ever did come to worst, it's reassuring to remember what the U.S. Chamber of Commerce told the Environmental Protection Agency in a recent filing, that there's no need to worry because, quote, populations can acclimatize to warmer climates via a range of behavioral, physiological, and technological adaptations, unquote. I'm sure that's what the residents of Joplin are telling themselves today.
We hope that sufficiently scared you into listening to our presentation tonight.
Tonight we have a special program for you all, aimed to teach you different ways to go green. So what you saw from that short video, don't escalate. You will hear from students of all ages from all over Newton about their initiatives to make the Garden City more of a garden.
So without further ado, we introduce Stevie from Kids Take Action.
Hi, I'm Stevie from Kids Take Action at Mason Rice Elementary School. Kids Take Action, or KTA, is a group of kids in ages grades kindergarten through 5th who want to help make the world a better place. Today you will see 2 videos that Kids Take Action put together in order to raise awareness about the environment. One is a campaign encouraging people to cancel their catalog subscriptions and how it would help the environment. This year is the first year we had this campaign, and it was very successful. As a result, 450 catalog subscriptions were canceled, saving 60 trees on an annual basis. The second video is a selection of skits that promote knowledge of the environment in general and how you can protect it. The video is a collaboration of all the kids in KTA, and we hope these skits will motivate people in our community to help protect the environment. Thank you.
This is boring. It's a waste of paper. At Mason Rice, we are working on cancelling catalogues.
If all the catalogs mailed in the year were stacked up, the height would be equal to 12 times the height of Mount Everest.
This is what we've done so far.
19 billion catalogs are mailed each year.
53 billion gallons of water could be saved.
To make catalogs, enough trees are cut down to clear-cut 2,000 central parks.
Let's do more. If we cancelled all our catalogs, it would equal taking 2 million cars off the road.
Could everyone please go to www.catalogchoice.com and cancel your catalogs today? Help save the environment.
Let us tell you a tale about the snowy owl and the big blue whale.
If we don't save their habitats, they will disappear. It would be so sad if they were no longer here.
Blue whale and snowy owl, so different, both endangered, help us save them.
Whether they hoot or swim or growl or howl.
If we do nothing, the snowy owl will no longer fly, and the largest animal ever will never swim by.
There is so much we can do, from recycling to raising money, whether they fly or swim in the ocean below.
Save the blue whale, save the snowy owl, save the ocean, save the sky. We are here to tell you why.
Because they are in danger!
If you reuse and recycle, you can help save animals in their habitats. Help save the animals, help save the animals, help save the animals in their habitats.
If you make a mistake,
erase. Use both sides of your paper. Don't waste, recycle. Help save the animals, help save the animals, help save the animals in their habitats.
Join KTA, Kids Take Action, to help save endangered species and other stuff. Help save
the animals, help save the animals, help save the animals in their habitats.
I finished my water.
No! Reuse!
Recycle.
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 Recycle! Or reuse.
Yeah.
My mom says to save my pennies, but you can't buy anything with pennies. I know. Even a bag of gum costs $1. I think we should just throw these away.
Stop! What are you doing? Don't you know that pennies can make a big difference?
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Do you know by collecting coins, Mason Rice raised over $1,000 to help protect endangered species?
That's really cool. That's right. By working
Together and making every penny count, we help save
the snow leopard, the panda,
the blue whale, the snowy owl.
Three developers are walking through the forest.
I Can't wait to start to build after we clear cut all of this bamboo. After we finish this project, it's off to the snowy mountains of India where we'll build a resort. I'm a musical panda, so I'm going to sing this. If you cut down my bamboo, I will have nothing to feed my baby panda, and then she will die. She's too young to die.
Oh, no you don't. I'm the WWF hero, and I'm here to save the pandas. Did you know that even though pandas are classified as carnivores, they mostly eat bamboo? That's right. They eat up to 40 pounds a day. And without the bamboo, they would die. WWF hero out!
I never realized that. Let's leave here and go to the Himalayas instead. We won't be bothering anyone there.
But if you go to the Himalayas and cut down that habitat, then we won't have anywhere to live and we won't be able to hunt or hide. I'm the WWF hero again, and this time I'm here to save the snow leopards. And this time, just to dazzle them, I'm going to sing the facts. There are only 3,500 to 7,000 snow leopards left in the wild and 600 in the zoos. And even though their habitat is remote and harsh, people keep ruining their lives by cutting down their habitat. WWF hero out! Wow, we've learned so much today. Let's go help KTA save the environment.
Don't do it. Don't do that. It's bad for your lungs and bad for the environment. And the least you can do is throw the cigarette butt away.
I thought smoking was good for you.
Littering is terrible for sea life, and don't forget to put out your cigarette or you might start a wildfire. Don't do that. Feeding wildlife can make animals sick or worse, kill it. It can also make the wildlife dependent on humans for food, and less are going to be able to care about themselves. Better to just observe and enjoy the wildlife. And always report an injured animal to the local animal control or animal sanctuary. They may be able to help.
If you could tell just one person not to cut down bamboo, then I would have food to live.
If you could just tell one person not to use my fur for materials, my species would be safe and protected.
If you could tell just one person to ride a bike once in a while, this could save the environment and protect snowy owls.
If you could tell just one person that blue whales are endangered, this would spread awareness everywhere.
Help save the panda, the snow leopard, the snowy owl, blue whale.
Thanks, Stevie and KTA. Now, Allison and Emmett will explain how you can go green this summer.
We got the idea of giving green tips between presentations from the EnviroJam event. We have lots of tips, but the challenge is to make them fresh and new, since 99.9% of our audience tonight already does lots of green things. So we thought you might like something old and something new to green your summer, courtesy of SGWs and the Learning Channel. Take the 2-mile challenge. If your destination is equal to or less than 2 miles away, you leave your car in the park and make it a walking or bicycle trip. All summer, no exceptions, and you are guaranteed to lose weight while cutting down on pollution, your gas bill, and the climate crisis all at the same time. Check out bikenewton.org for a bicycle map of Newton.
And use a solar backpack. Made for the student, mobile commuter, and outdoorsman, the backpacks provide a quality pack with an integrated solar charging solution for your high-tech toys. Whether you're running out to the beach with a dead cell phone battery, out sightseeing, camping, or city walking when your digital camera runs out of charge, our solar backpacks and solar bags have got you covered. NPR also has instructions on how to make your own, too.
Thanks, Allison and Emmett. Up next is the Green Engineers from Newton North High School.
So, my name is Steve Kinosi. Do I need this? Yes. Thank you, sir. Oh, yes. And this is my partner.
Hello, I'm Quinn.
Silva.
Quinn Silva. That's
So
right.
Quinn and I are Green Engineers at Newton North. We work on basically the Green Engineers. The mantra of the Green Engineers is how much fun can we have saving the species? We figured that the planet's going to do what the planet's going to do, but we have to figure out a way to maximize that very slim window of prime living space for humans. So 3 years ago, I guess 5 years ago, we started with this concept. This was a student initiative where in my English class, actually, a group of students started exploring biodiesel. So I got so inspired by their work, I decided to spend the next 2 years learning everything I could about biodiesel, from the chemistry to the mechanical engineering of making the reactors. So that kind of triggered a beautiful chain reaction of activism and engagement at North, and I think across the city in a lot of ways. So this call to arms from Governor Patrick has been something that we think about a lot, because a lot of these issues are big, huge global issues, but they're also something that we need to kind of reimagine on a very local level. And so when we thought about this on a K-12 spectrum, this idea of we need innovation, we need this intense experimentation, the Green Engineers stepped up to that and have been working on that for the last 3 years with students. We currently have 50 students enrolled, and next year we're going to have 300 enrolled. We probably won't have room for all 300, but we're going to do our best given our resources. So we knew then that what we needed to do was create a space where ideas can flourish and where ultimately students can shine. And that's what we do in the Green Engineering Lab. So these photos behind me are just a small selection of some of the work we do. In the top left, you see Michael and Kristen working on biodiesel. So we spend a few months, the students on that team spend a few months doing the chemical and the mechanical engineering behind biodiesel. Eliana's on that team right there. Emmett was on that team too. Emmett was with the Green Engineers. So then we scale that up. So we do these small little tiny kitchen batches. So a liter batch here and there, and then we scale up to 20, 30, 40, 50 gallons a batch. We work with Legal Seafood. One restaurant for Legal Seafood produces about 400 gallons of waste grease every 3 days. It's currently recycled. When we don't get a little cut of the action, it's recycled and cleaned and then used at a 100-year-old leather company in Charlestown to tan the leather. So it's kind of a neat thing. But we've kind of inserted ourselves into that equation and now make fuel for the trucks, for the Legal Seafood trucks. One of our partners that helps us on the logistical side is Save That Stuff, an incredible recycling firm out of Charlestown. So the biodiesel is one aspect. Below them is Anish, Cedric, and Stephen. That is our algae research project. So we work with MIT and the University of Texas, where we're looking to extract fuel from algae. So lipids in a plant cell are oil that can be produced by our biodiesel process. So here the students are just kind of having fun trying to centrifuge the water out of the algae. And our job is to create a paste, because there's a chemist at MIT that will unleash a yeast that will eat the starch and leave more lipids. So it's going to be a couple years before we have enough to actually start producing oil, but we're getting there. Next to there is Cedric again. That's our aquaponics setup. That was new this year in the green engineering. And this is to tackle basically sustainable agriculture, urban, rural. That setup was designed. So right there is, well, actually, I ate a strawberry this morning from the aquaponics setup. It was pretty good. And so that system was designed by students and then was consequently redesigned down in Nicaragua in a small village by one of the green engineers who went to Nicaragua this spring. So the system we designed is currently running in Nicaragua. We have one here in the green engineering shop, and then another one in our greenhouse at North. And then that wonderful mug up there at the top is Will Spiro, who he jumped into the green engineers to help us create to further our research in what we call material re-engineering. So a few years ago, we started reading articles from the Sloan Business Journal, and the students uncovered that there was this great insight around that the future billionaires are going to be people who can mine the waste stream, because it is an unbelievable, actually uncalculable amount of valuable material being thrown away every day, as some of that video hinted at. So Will, on his own, decided what we do at the Green Engineers is we do fused plastic. So we can take all your plastic bags that usually end up thrown out eventually, and with a little heat and pressure, we can turn it into a whole new material. So Will has decided, in this picture here, Will recreated the Patagonia label for the company to kind of, as a calling card to the company to say the Green Engineers and Patagonia want to connect, and it worked. We're in partnership with Patagonia Global now, and we're hosting an event on June 13th at the Newberry Street store on plastics and the impact of plastics. So all of this stuff comes down to, how do we do it? How does this happen? How do you ultimately inspire kids to think differently about not only what they can do at home, how they can see themselves as solutionaries? And that's kind of a word we use in green engineering. Well, ultimately, students shine when they're engaged, and engagement's easier with motivation, and everyone, even small humans, are motivated by purpose. So the idea of the green engineering course is to create purposeful education. And what that means for the generation that's coming up is they want to have a hand at solving these big global issues. So the students looked at Daniel Pink's work in Drive, and ultimately we came down with what he says is the three things: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So in our class, what we do is we create opportunities in those three areas for kids to have that autonomy to pick whether they want to work aquaponics, biodiesel, chemistry, the mechanical engineering side, the material engineering side. So autonomy is about, for us, choice architecture. We build an environment in our shop where students can pick. And Quinn, Quinn is a great example. This is Quinn's second year in the Green Engineers, and she's heading off to university next year. But when Quinn jumped in, Quinn became what we needed last year was a research team, because so much information was coming in. We needed somehow an opportunity, and we need leadership in that area to kind of manage the information and what we could really tackle in terms of scope and scale. So this year, one of Quinn's, I'm going to hand off mycelium to you for a little bit, because this is something where, for us, the students take a lead often. So we have two set things throughout the year where there's a scientific inquiry project, and then there's a design challenge. And the goal of that is students have to bring something new that will advance the work of green engineers, the research. So Quinn, early in the fall, stumbled upon mycelium, which is really, really amazing. So she's going to give you a brief on mycelium.
All right, so mycelium is the vegetative growth of a mushroom. So you kind of see it as the root structure in the soil when you are digging around in your gardens, picking up potted plants. It's that white network of interlacing cells. Now these roots naturally produce enzymes and antibacterials to protect themselves from other harmful things in the soil. But a kind of byproduct of these enzymes that they produce is that they also break down and neutralize harmful hydrocarbons, which are more commonly known as diesel, petroleum, toxic chemicals that come from waste from industrial factories. So we can create these environments where we have the mycelium growing in the soil in these little bunker spawn burlap bags that have this mycelium mushroom spawn growing on wood chips that actually absorb any sort of harmful chemicals that are in the water, that are in the soil. It uses them as a food source, breaks it down, so you have this constant cycle of not only taking the chemicals and harmful toxins out of the soil, out of the water, but you're also creating new layers of nutrient-rich topsoil as the mycelium matures, grows mushrooms, and the mushrooms die out and are returned into the soil. So you kind of have this full cycle of cleaning the soils, cleaning the water that happens effortlessly, cheaply, and very, very efficiently. But one of the main reasons that I found mycelium is because it can be used as a styrofoam substitute. So if you grow it densely on some sort of organic material or ag waste, you can create this just solid, just like foam almost, literally. And there's a company based in New York that's using it called Ecovative, and they use it in house insulation, car insulation, acoustical tiling, different types of consumer products like coolers and what else? Candle holders and bowls. Yeah, they have all sorts of things.
Surfboards.
Surfboards, yeah. I'm using it as a flotation and a surfboard for SYP.
So I changed the slide as Quinn was talking because what I wanted you to kind of think about was the mastery that she just showed in this complex subject. Now, she did that, yes. I mean,
thank you.
Phenomenal. And all on her own. I mean, this is not taught in any class. It's learned in the Green Engineers, but it's not taught anywhere. And Quinn took the leadership on her own to educate the entire crew of Green Engineers. And now we are beta testers for this company. So we actually have live mycelium growing as a polymer to create that styrofoam product in dark little cabinets in the Green Engineers. And it's pretty amazing. But that's what we get in our scenario. And in the Green Engineers classroom is that students have the freedom to dig and go further. In a traditional classroom setting, after the chapter test, why go on? Why dig deeper? There's no reason. There's no purpose. In Green Engineering, the purpose is the whole reason why we're here tonight, to actually make, do something different.
To do it.
To do the right thing, yeah.
Not to read about it.
Not to read about it, to do it. So that transcendent purpose, that practical purpose, when we go to the middle schools and we go to the universities and speak all over the place, it's actually the middle school kids that know more about these issues than the university kids. University kids have all the technical knowledge, engineering knowledge, all that kind of stuff, environmental science. But it's the middle school students that we find actually understand this slide, this purpose as transcendent and practical. It is the call to arms to this generation, right? Is their civil rights movement, is their women's rights movement. The environmental activism is their call to arms, and they will absolutely find the solutions, I have no doubt. And so our job, Green Decade's job, the Green Engineers, is to keep facilitating pathways and bridges for these students to make those connections. So we know that innovation favors the connected mind, and so in class, the big question is, how do we do it? So the big thing for us is guides, not gatekeepers, and crew, not passengers. It's too easy for students to become passengers in their own journey, right? They can sit back and do nothing. That's a quote from Kurt Hahn, the great late Kurt Hahn, founder of Outward Bound and the Salem Schools. And guides, not gatekeepers. After 20 years in a classroom, I found myself torn between being the coach to my students, and I wanted them to produce the absolute best results, but I was also the ref. And there's no scenario where the coach calls the game. That's what a referee is for. So I started reimagining my role as a guide and less as a gatekeeper, with tests and quizzes and grades and all of these other things. So in any given day, you'll see our students with our faculty kind of hanging back and asking kind of questions. What do you got going on there? What's happening? So here we're trying to de-water the algae. You'll see the dark green at the bottom on the table and the really pale green up at top before it hits the centrifuge. The other thing we kind of stumbled upon in green engineering was integration, curriculum integration primarily. Too often, all school happens in silos. So you have chemistry, then you have history, then you have English. But nobody asks a student to think about those things simultaneously. But in green engineering, we do. So for example, here's the early version of a prototype of the aquaponics setup. And what I love about aquaponics is it is a mechanical engineering problem. We have to keep water moving and from leaking as well. We have the biology of the plants and the fish. There are fish in the bottom tank and plants in the top. And then there's the chemistry of the water that keeps the fish alive and the plants thriving. So that's what we talk about. That's what we mean when we say the integration of the elements. So in the same conversation, the student has to understand mechanical engineering, biology, and chemistry in order to keep the fish alive and the plants to harvest crops. And then the pumps and the water systems. So that is unlike anything else. And I think that's why we're moving on something pretty profound. The solutionary thing for us is about the information age. We live in the greatest time. If you're a learner, there's no single time greater than this on earth. We have access to all information at our fingertips. What you do with it is the big challenge, because it's all there. But this photo was when the governor came and hung out with us last month or 2 months ago. And I love this photo because Jake is in red there smiling, because the kids were trying to explain the technical aspect of algae. And the Governor Patrick blew our mind. He was a really amazing guy who asked really thoughtful questions. But he said, all right, let me explain it back to you. So it works like this. And all the kids started cracking up, laughing at the governor, saying, no, Governor, it's not like that. It's like this. And what they did was they had a tablet or an iPad or something, a Nook or something. And they said, no, read this email from Professor so-and-so from UTexas. From about 20 minutes before the governor walked in, the professor had emailed and answered the question that the kids had. And so they show him the thing, and they say, that's what it's all about, Governor. And I thought, aha, that's it. There it is, solutionaries in action, right? I'm not the source of that information as their teacher. I'm the facilitator of an environment to find the answer and to find the solution. So, and then for us, everything is based on relationships. And a quote, obviously, from Rabbi Buber, I and thou. We live and die by this. All of the knowledge we've gained is because people have shared with us, and we in turn share all of that. So we've been really lucky with Parametric Technology Corporation, MIT, and the Village Bank, and Save That Stuff, and Legal Seafood, Whole Foods Market, Earth Day Network, WGBH, Green Decade Coalition, Studios to Sustain. So we have partners and friends, and that's how the class is conducted, through all of this amazing collaboration. And for us, this is how we live. It's about the planet, it's about the people and the power. And for us to kind of generate these solutions. And there's the smoothie bike too, actually, right? On the, in the photo. So the Green Engineers, you know, we're here to have a lot of fun to save the species. And we're expanding to Newton South. So, so we'll be moving to South. We start that work next year, that research. There's actually Green Engineers going in Natick, actually. They spent the last 2 years in our shop studying and learning. And we work with about 7 other schools in New England, and 1 in Kentucky. I didn't tell you about that yet, Quinn.
Kentucky? All right.
We're going to Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah, so with the Earth Day Network, we're actually going down to Kentucky to help out with some projects down there. But again, it's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight with you guys because of the work of the Green Decades and really the Students for a Greener World. We love the relationship we have, and we know that, like I said before, we will solve these problems. We absolutely will solve these problems. So thank you very much. And anytime the shop is open, come and hang out with us. June 13th is our Patagonia event, June 13th, Newberry Street. It'll be a good time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Green Engineers. I look forward to attending your program in June. Now let's hear from some more SGW members about some more ways to make our summers green.
So now it's time for another tip with a different idea for staying cool this summer. During the summer, AC uses tons of energy, ultimately leaving the planet a warmer place when the day is done. So if you're committed to staying green this summer, turn off the cooling system in favor of natural ventilation and oscillation, also ceiling fans. Unplug heat-inducing electronics such as TVs and computers and open up the windows for a natural breeze. Also, enjoy the outdoors with a picnic in the shade.
Or you can get the Ice Bear. If a ton of ice isn't in the cards for you this summer, a slightly more attainable form of frozen cooling is the Ice Bear, which connects up to a conventional air conditioning system, but uses it to make ice at night when the power is cheap and melts all day to keep you cool. It doesn't save energy, but it does save money.
Find out how at tlc.howstuffworks.com/green summer bonus tips. The polar bear is optional.
Thanks, Irene and Roz. Now, the Newton South Environment Club will explain how Newton South has been making itself more green.
Hi. We're from the Newton South Environmental Club, and we're here to talk to you about what we've been doing in the past years.
So we just started a battery drive to collect batteries around school. We put a collection box in each of the house offices so people can put their batteries in there, and we're going to drive them to a place in Boston where they can be safely disposed of and not harm the environment. And here's a picture of all the batteries we've collected. And here are the collection boxes we have around different parts of the school.
So for the past years, we've had eco-friendly trays in the cafeterias, which weren't made from styrofoam, which is really harmful. However, this year, a new company started working in the cafeteria, and the styrofoam trays are back. So we're trying to get the eco-friendly ones back again, but Newton South doesn't want to pay for all the trays because they cost more than styrofoam trays. So we're trying to fundraise to get the money by selling things like mugs. And so we're also trying to get environment-friendly utensils in the cafeteria, which are made from potato starch and which can be compostable. And yeah, and those are the trays and mugs.
So we've been connecting with ACE, which stands for Alliance for Climate Education, and they came to us and they presented about how we can help the environment more. I also went to some of their meetings in Boston, which was a great way to connect with other environmental clubs from schools around Massachusetts and New England. And we joined their Biggest Loser project, which is a project where we try to lose as much energy in our school. So we ask individual teachers to track how much energy they're using and see the decrease in numbers as they turn on their lights off for more and more hours, and to compete to see which school in the country can lose the most energy. And we joined it, but we had to withdraw because of other projects we were doing, but we hope to try again next year.
Also, this year we got stickers which say these come from trees. And basically we put them all around school on paper towel dispensers and Xerox machines, which help to remind people that when you use paper, you're cutting down trees. And this helps to make people more aware and to decrease the amount of paper that they use. Also, in recent years, we obtained single-stream recycling in our school, which means that you can recycle paper and plastic all together, so you don't have to separate them. And now we're trying to raise awareness that we have single-stream recycling and that people should recycle more.
So this is our garden at school. We have a greenhouse, and the Sustainable Agriculture Club has been planting some things in there. And our future plans are to continue having ACE come and present to us, and maybe presenting to some of the middle and lower schools. We're planning on having a lights out for 1 hour across the entire school to see how much energy that can save. We're going to continue doing the Biggest Loser project and do some composting in the garden, and also get some more fluorescent light bulbs.
Catherine and Danny. Now, Melissa and Michael will present the final green summer tip of the evening.
Fantastic.
We have 4 tips for you now.
They're sort of challenges. They're a little bit more up there, but they're very cool.
Yeah. So number 1, try living on the 100-mile diet. The first ones to try it a while back had a rough time during the winter, but the availability of local farmers markets and backyard gardens this summer should make it much easier. Check in with the Massachusetts Farmers Market for more tips on sourcing your food locally.
Nice. Tip number 2 is to build your own solar oven. You can use the power of the sun to cook your own food. You can turn off your conventional oven and your gas grill also. You'll cool your home and you'll cool the planet while amazing your neighbors at the same time.
That guy's got it pretty good. He's like,
I'm jealous of that kid.
number 3, grow your own chair. That's right, you can install a grass chair in your yard. Using a chair-shaped mold, you can shape the dirt into a stable chair of turf. Choose the location carefully, because once it's grown, it isn't going anywhere, considering the 240 liters of soil it needs. But you'll certainly be the proud owner of the greenest chair on the block.
It's a challenge. We encourage you to take it. Our 4th tip, make art from summer's trash. You can take some time to turn that old propane tank into art. Keep it out of the landfill while it's time to get a new one. Tires recycled into planters are always lovely too. Important, especially if you live in the South, which none of us do, but that's okay. New England it's warm enough. Your neighbors will definitely admire your artistic talent. For more information and other activities, you can visit the Learning Channel like we did and find out more. Have a great summer.
Thank you, Melissa and Michael. Now it's time for the final and clearly superior student group of the evening, Students for a Greener World. We are a coalition of middle school and high school students from around Newton who come together to try to make Newton greener.
All right, I'm Max.
I'm Roz.
We thought we'd do a sort of a recap of SGW, which is Students for a Greener World, just what we've done this year. A lot of these are my own photographs that I've been working on since the summer.
Yeah, so we are Students for a Greener World. And
yeah, this isn't everybody. I guess perhaps deep inside we all just come from Marcus Cookies. I'm not sure. But we also want to help the environment.
yeah, and so right now we're hard at work, and so we have students from 6th grade to 12th grade who have been here. Like it's really varies. Some people have been here for 4 years, and some for like 1 month. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, but it's really fun anyways, and we have all ages.
You can see here, this is our own Magic Energy bike. It's quite a bit like the smoothie bike you saw on the way in. This one generates electricity, and we have some light bulbs up here. This is from Newton Center. We had an event there.
Yeah, so the Green Fair. So you can just see like our like Magic Energy bike and our table is just under like a tent under here. That's basically what we have every year. And like so Students for a Greener World with these events, we can just basically just like come anytime they're happening, and we can man the table, help out with the Magic Energy bike. And if there's caterpillars there, we just sometimes just play with the caterpillars. It's really fun.
Yeah. This here, actually, I should probably talk about this. This is a fold-up bike that was just right across from our tent. People were using it. It's very awesome. It folds up into something, perhaps that big, and so you can see it's a actually fantastic invention.
Yep. Oh,
there it is again.
Yeah. And so that's the same event. Yeah, and you can see like the little like other tables inside the tents there, and it's really good. Oh, and that must be Max's dad on the Magic Energy bike, which is cool. And you can see like all ages can go on it, and it's really fun. We've had kids like 4 years old go on it, really old. And then there's our no cost sign. It's really cool.
Yeah, so you can see here our this is sort of an average farmer's market table. We've got the caterpillars, which are small children really like those, and as well as a number of flyers and different information about how to get free green stuff for the summer and whenever.
Oh, and there's like
one of the caterpillars.
And they're really big. They're like big monsters, but they're really fun because the kids love them. And it gets really busy sometimes. You can see like we have pictures like right here on our tent. Like kids basically draw like what they should do to help the environment and just color it in. And it's really good. Oh, and then this is Touch a Truck. Yeah.
This is the Newton South parking lot actually.
Yeah, and so we also have the same thing there with Magic.
Yeah. Which is this is at the Touch a Truck. It's Newton South.
Oh, it's really fun. Margaret's Frios. It's just play around. Yep, and there's yeah. Oh, and I'm in some sort of crane thing, but basically with the trucks, I think you can just kind of walk in there and just you can just walk in and just touch anything, and it's just like a learning experience. And this is at Newton North. It's actually like a robotics event, but we decided to be there too. And we have a Magic Energy bike, and so basically same thing. We could just go at the table and just people ask questions about Students for a Greener World, Green Decade, what we do, and so we just tell them that, and it's just really fun because a lot of times we can just play with the bike. Yeah, and so that's and that is spring in my backyard, and I wasn't there. Yeah, in the contest awards, I wasn't there, so I don't know much about this.
Well, this is basically an event where you can, I believe, just elementary school kids can make sort of art projects and their vision for a greener world out of recycled materials. This is the awards for this contest. Here you can see some of the winners up there.
Yeah. And if you look closely, you see a kid just totally down on the floor, right there. He's just sleeping. It's really cool. Yeah.
Some more winners.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wild boar is right there. So, and then this is a plant pullout. And this happened around Newton Serves. And it was just really fun. Just invasive species. We also have during Newton Serves, we can also choose an activity to do, and one of them could be pulling out invasive species in Cabot Woods or somewhere in Newton, or something like that. We can just pick trash off the ground, and it's really fun. So that's one thing we were doing, and that's the same thing. And Emmett, so Emmett gets the Helpings Award for showing up at 3 activities during Earth Day. So congrats.
Thank you.
Yep, that's it.
Thanks, guys. If that PowerPoint didn't convince you or your children to join SGW, maybe this video of what our meetings typically look like will, or will deter you.
Just so you know. Okay, everybody needs to listen up. I'm listening. Because this is the only meeting we have before we do this. And everybody needs to walk out of here knowing exactly what they are doing on May 21st.
Question about
Is that us doing it or is it good news?
Question about the frogs.
We're doing it.
We'll get, hold on to that because we go through this. You should keep it like they think about what process.
What I was thinking it's about. She's really nice, really hardworking. She's working on planning this. This is the PowerPoint committee. It's Roz and Margaret and Max and Taylor working on the lovely PowerPoint.
Right?
Taylor's really good at techie stuff, and Max is the photographer, and Dallas has been on SGW for a long time. And Margaret here is taking pictures. Margaret here is taking pictures of us lovely photogenic SGW members. So this is Jay and Celia and Jenna, and they're working on green tips, which you just saw, and they're planting them. Jenna's really smart. Yeah.
I'm so not photogenic. I'm Melissa. I'm a senior. I've been in SGW since 8th grade, and it's been fun and interesting and stuff. I really like going dumpster diving.
It's not funny.
Oh,
That's just gross.
no,
Just kidding, it's really cool.
No, it's good. I am on a dumpster diving team.
Because the whole green tip, like TIP.
There's a tail.
Yeah, we're going to do what I think would be the best is we're going to do. It's more than one because you've got like 2 to 3 minutes to do each. And it's just to get as much information out there as possible to people.
So, whole bit with the awards.
This is, Taylor, what are you working on?
This is the most amazing fact of all. Recycling 1 ton of plastic can save 1 to 2,000 gallons of gas. And our gas prices will go up.
When she's done,
So I don't know.
There's one left.
Do what?
No.
There's sugar cookies.
Okay. Well, we have 4 special people that we'd like to honor tonight, and they are our graduating seniors. So, should we have them come up?
No, we should read about them first.
All right.
You could embarrass you sufficiently, and then you get to come up and get them. Okay, good. Okay, so first up, we have Mr. Greenberg, who goes to Newton North High School, and he will be attending Brandeis University in the fall. And we have a lovely photo montage of you, just to embarrass you. So Mr. Emmett joined SGW last summer, and usually seniors come they're seniors, so they only come to 1 or 2 meetings that year, but Emmett here has come to pretty much every meeting and attended a bunch of events. So here's Emmett at the farmer's market, and he plays the djembe, African drum, which is really cool and entertains the little kids in addition to the caterpillars. And he also played at Newton North EnviroJam this weekend. And as we announced earlier, he won the triple Newton Serves Event Participation Award.
Next we have Maxwell Hamilton, Newton South, going to BU this fall. Another love. Max also came to Green Decade last summer looking for a photography project and stayed the entire year. It's hard to get pictures of him because he's always behind the camera. At the farmer's market last year, he also helped with the Magic Energy Bike and the caterpillars between photos. He also showed off the official Green Decade Prius at last fall's Touch a Truck event at Newton South. Max is also the official photographer for this year's Environmental Art Contest Committee for PR materials and at the awards. Last fall, both Emmett and Max volunteered at the Newton Culture Center's anniversary. Apparently, they were stunned and they stayed the whole year.
Look at their face.
Okay, now we have Antonia Nichols from Newton South, who is taking a gap year, then to UVM in 2013. Antonia is one of the founding members of SGW, as well as a dancer and summer visitor to Africa, where she keeps an eye out for killer hippos. She recruited Newton Center business owners to participate in SGW's Newton Serves Business Recycling Project. She helped teach little kids about being green at the farmer's market. And as a member of Newton South's Environmental Club, she brought in speakers for Earth Day activities, including Green Decade's Eric Olson and many others.
Last but certainly not least, we have Melissa, who goes to Broccoli School, or officially the Corwin Russell School at Broccoli Hall. And she will be attending also the University of Vermont. in the fall. And she's a founding member of SGW, and she was also the first student to participate in the Student Energy Conservation Essay Contest, and you won first place, which is really awesome. She was also a member of the Business Recycling Project, which is the first picture up there, and she raises rabbits, which is really cool, and shares them with kids at our annual Newton Unplugged Spring in My Backyard event. And she has been key in our previous speaker series programs as a talking rabbit and as a musician. That's really interesting. She won't be doing that tonight. She grew up. Also, Melissa's artistic abilities are legendary. She finalized the group-generated SGW logo into the t-shirt design we are all wearing. It's gorgeous. And Melissa and Antonia teamed up with Malini Gandhi to design the original layout for the SGW brochure, which we still use today. Thank you to all of you all. Oh, we have gifts. They're back behind the sign.
We didn't know what to give you, so we decided to give you something you either couldn't use or you'd really like. But we wanted you to remember your lovely days with, to use Hillary's expression, at Students for a Greener World, and let you know that we really appreciated you. So we have a little rosemary plant for each of you for 2 reasons. In the language of flowers, rosemary is for remembrance. So we wanted you to remember us. And also wild boars like to eat it.
No, that's Melissa. We hope you enjoyed tonight's program. We started off by showing you the devastation humans have caused on Earth, and then presented you with all the ways you can prevent the situation from being exasperated.
To conclude the student aspect of this evening, students at the New Art Center prepared a brief claymation to remind everybody of the beauty of the Earth if it's not properly maintained.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Please take everything you heard tonight to heart and try to get as involved in maintaining the environment as possible.
You've got to treat your planet well. The actions that you take are more important than you know. You've got to treat your planet well. The actions that you take are more important than you know. When you're in the shower, try to keep it short. Why use a gallon when you could use a quart? Our water is so precious, we need to make it last. If we're not careful, it will go away so fast. You've got to treat your planet well.